everyone, welcome back to another episode of Pass the Puck, a podcast by Teen 14s, where we share real stories from athletes, coaches, and leaders working to build a better future in sport. Today's guests are leaders in the game, maybe not in the way you usually think of it. You won't find them in the goal crease or on the score sheet, but they're essential to every play, every call, and every game. They've officiated on the world's biggest stages, including the Olympics and the new Professional Women's Hockey League. They're role models, trailblazers, and true pros when it comes to fairness, focus, and leadership under pressure. We're thrilled to have Justine Todd and Cianna to the Pass the Puck podcast. Thank you for being here today.
You bet. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
So usually when we do these, we start off with some fun icebreaker questions, so we're just going to do that again. If you could ref any game in history, any sport at any level, which one would it be and why?
Oh, go ahead, Justine. You can answer first.
I had to think long and hard because the reason I love reffing hockey is because it's fast-paced and physical, and you have to be mentally and physically in shape. So I was trying to think of a comparable sport that I have a lot of respect for, and I thought the female All Blacks from New Zealand, rugby. How cool. Those women are like incredible athletes. It's fast-paced, it's hard-hitting, and I thought that would be a really cool sport to officiate on the pitch.
Yeah,
Nice.
I've seen like some rugby players on TikTok, and I feel like it'd be really cool to go watch a game.
Yeah. Tough athletes.
I think for mine, if I had to officiate in another sport, would be box lacrosse. We recently got a team here in Saskatoon, out in Saskatchewan, and the game to me just, again, seems so fast-paced. The atmosphere with the music playing all the time seems like just such an awesome game, and it would really be cool to be a part of it.
Yeah, I know we have I'm pretty sure they're the Thunderbirds in Halifax. So
Yes.
I've never been to a game, but my mom went to one, so I have like one of their shirts. But I think it'd be really cool to also watch a lacrosse game in person.
Yeah.
What's one thing fans don't know about being a linesperson/referee that they should?
Oh, gosh. We hate making mistakes. We really try to be the best at what we do, and we, as much as the fans hate it when they don't like a call on the ice, if we don't like our call, we hate it just as much as the fans do. It doesn't happen very often, but we take those very seriously. Like, it was a really, I know I can speak for myself, I take that to heart when maybe something didn't go the way I wanted it to go on the ice, much like the fans would. I can share that sentiment with them.
Yeah, I think for me is we truly do love what we do. That is our sport. That is our passion. We love officiating hockey just as much as those players do. And I think sometimes people don't understand that side of it, just that passion that we truly do have for the different take on the game of hockey.
I don't ref. I really should ref.
We'll take you. We need more females. If you want to, you're in.
Our goal is by the end of this, Colin, is that you're a referee. So we have done our job if you're signing up for next fall.
Don't worry, we'll do. You guys are the first refs.
Excellent.
Do you have any pre-game ritual or superstitions before you hit the ice?
Yeah, I have two. One is a personal one. I've actually been reffing in the same shirt every single game, every time I've stepped on the ice since I'm 11 years old. My mom bought it for me. They don't even make them anymore. It's like the oldest style of Under Armour shirt. I can see through it right now, but I still wear it under my padded shirt that I wear now. But I've taken that thing with me from my very first U9 game all the way up to the Beijing Olympics. So that's kind of my superstitious ritual, is I have to have that shirt with me. And then my next one is before a game. My ritual is to sing the anthem, whatever that anthem may be. That's just one of my things that I do. It kind of gets me in the zone and ready for the game.
I'm kind of a bit different. I think I have some routines that I follow before a game, but I don't have a lot of superstitions. And I think I've gone the opposite direction through the years because I've had so many games or experiences where I'm like, I've got to do this, this, and this. And then without fail, something happens where you can't follow that routine or that ritual. So if it's not something like a shirt or something that you have absolute control over, it's hard to always stick to that. And then I don't want that to be the mental factor that throws me off my game. So if anything, I'm the opposite. I try to be whatever happens, happens and go with the flow. And it's allowed me to be able to adapt to some pretty unusual situations or things that might happen leading up to a game or just before going on the ice, and it not get me off my game either.
I like to say I'm not a super superstitious person, but I'd probably be a routine person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like in hockey, I don't really do anything super superstitious. I'm not like the people who always like put their shin pad on one way. I usually just like make sure I do warm ups and then I just go on and play the best I can.
Right. Nice.
What's your go-to snack after a big game?
Rice, veggies, and meat. If I had something right after a game that I can control, because again, sometimes when Cianna and I are not at home and we can't prepare our own food, you don't always get this. But if I can after a game, it's just rice, meat, and vegetables if I can.
Yep. Usually for myself, I like to have that bigger meal kind of before the game. And my go-tos are some kind of variation of a buffalo chicken salad or a wrap or something like that. And then after the game, if time allows, if we are traveling on the road and we can get food, usually something that's really filling, that carb loading. So pasta is a really good option that I like after games.
When the PWHL playoff games were going into multiple overtimes, what would you have in between periods?
A good go-to that I always keep in my bag, I usually have about 5 packs of them, are the little Welsh fruit snacks. And I know a lot of the girls and guys that we rep with, we just keep them in the bag. They're a good serving size. You get that sugar in to really keep you going through those extended periods of hockey.
Yeah, I know the Ottawa Charge, they had their mustard on their bench.
Yeah.
And then there was there was Cheryl Pounder was getting snacks delivered to her during overtime.
Yep.
Now, I mean, for post game, this might sound really bad, but I mean, chips would sound really good after a game. I'm not gonna lie, because
Get that
usually,
salt in.
yeah, usually my games they're later because we're always usually playing the Halifax teams, and if not, it's like lunch. So I eat lunch before, so I end up getting something good into me before the game, and then afterwards I just eat whatever I want. Was there a moment when you realized I really love officiating?
I don't know for me if it was a moment or just something that kind of grew as a passion. I started it because I wanted to see more females on the ice, and it seemed like a fun way to stay in the game when I finished playing. And then as I became more involved, I think it just transitioned into that passion when I realized it was just as competitive and equally as challenging as playing, only in a different way. And it became something that I became passionate about, but I don't remember a moment in time.
Yeah, mine was pretty similar. Growing up in high school, I played every sport I possibly could. Being from a small town, you kind of had every opportunity to be on every team. So I was a really competitive person. Once I graduated high school, all those competitive sports really came to an end quickly. I realized reffing was something I could still compete in and really drive that competitive energy. And it was just something to keep me busy. I played sports all my life, and suddenly they came to a stop. And as I began to officiate more, I would say my moment was at a national championship when I got assigned my first medal game. And I got to look back and be like, wow, this is so cool. I get to skate now in a medal game at a national championship. What else can I do? And from there, it was just trying to become that better version of myself, reach that next goal or that next step. So, yeah.
I think it'd be really cool with the gold medal game, or like just a medal game in general. It'd be really cool. My team just went to provincials this year, so technically that was a medal game.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the highest level, I think it'd be pretty cool for any medal game, no matter, even if it wasn't hockey.
Absolutely.
What is your most memorable officiating moment?
I have 2 of them. My first one that comes to mind is my very first game that I did at the Beijing Olympics. And I just remember skating out, and as referees, we come out and we do the 2 or 3 laps at the beginning. And I just remember being in that moment and taking it all in and looking around. And that was that realization of I made it to the Olympics. One of those, the biggest goal goals that I had with officiating, I finally made it, and I'm here in this moment. And even talking about it now, I still get goosebumps because it was just one of the coolest moments that I've had. Another one was when our rivalry series came to Saskatoon and Regina. Saskatoon being my home city that I live in. It was just so special for me to have all my family and friends attend the game, see me work international hockey. A lot of times when they get to see me work, it's either in the middle of the night because I'm in Europe reffing and they wake up to watch the game on a live stream or it's on TV. So it was super special to have them there live and to get to have them in the stands.
Mine's actually very similar to Cianna's, only a different game. So mine was my first game at the Pyeongchang Olympics, which is in 2018. And it's interesting that it's my probably most memorable game because Cianna and I have been pretty fortunate in our careers and we've worked some really incredible hockey in multiple leagues. For me, it was most memorable because it was the Team Korea's home opener. And it was Team Korea that was a combination of South Korean and North Korean hockey players. So the arena was packed. And the crowd, I don't think, knew a lot about hockey because Korea would ice the puck and they had to rep in cheers and they get an offside and they would be cheering. And the fans were just so excited to be at that game. And the rink is probably one of the loudest arenas I've ever been in, even though it didn't have the largest crowd size that I've ever been part of. So just to share that moment in history with that team, that combined North-South Korean team, that's probably my most momentous or most memorable game that I've been part of.
I'd love to relate with most memorable reffing moment, but yeah.
They're coming. They're coming soon. Once you join us, you'll have yours.
Yeah, I mean, I should have took this reffing course. There was a reffing course last year, and I just didn't because I think hockey was at the same time, unfortunately.
That's fair. That's fair.
One day I'll have a most memorable.
Yes, that's okay. You can go through your playing career. Reffing will always be there when you're ready.
Yeah, I feel like it would also help with hockey because then sometimes I'm like lost with these penalties. I'm like, why'd they blow the whistle? What happened?
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe if I was a ref, then I'd understand more. Where's been your favorite place that you've officiated a game at?
I don't know if I can pick one. There's been a lot.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
We were just in Czechia, and that was probably one of the most amazing crowd, like fans. That I've been in front of. And they don't cheer like North American fans. Like they are on their feet, they are jumping, they are singing, they chant back and forth through the arena, and they don't stop the whole game. They don't stop and sit and have some popcorn or have a drink. Like they are going the whole game from start to finish. So there's been quite a few, but most recently Czechia, I'd have to say, was quite phenomenal. Like those fans were just diehard hockey fans. And they broke the attendance record, too, for Women's World when we were there. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I would have to agree, Justine. I think that was one that really stands out. And just the energy within that building for every single game. It was cool, too. The tournament was held in Czechia, the Women's Worlds this year. But that didn't matter. Every single game had such good attendance records. Like, the people just came for the hockey and they had the team they were cheering for and they cheered, and the atmosphere, the energy, it was just incredible. It was really cool. I would have to say that's my favorite one too.
I watched it on TV and I could like see people doing the wave halfway through a game and I saw them like jumping too in the crowd. I don't even think there was like one row.
Yeah. And at one point they had a conga line that was going through the entire rink up on the concourse on the walkway, and they just during play they just had this conga line going, and I just remember looking at it and seeing like 50 people all in a line just having the best time. It's just something you don't really see in North America, so it was really cool.
I feel like if that happened, a conga line just went halfway through the middle of a game and I was reffing, I'd just like stop. I wouldn't even look at the play. Just like, conga line. And I get zoned out. I feel like a cool place, at least for the PWHL, would be an Ottawa Charge game. I was very fortunate to go watch one, and the fans were like ecstatic. So I wonder what it'd be like on the ice itself.
Loud. It's loud.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Loud and electric.
Yeah,
but like loud in a good way. Well, we're gonna move on to the main questions. You both have such an inspiring journeys as officials. what first drew you to the role, and how did you know it was something you wanted to pursue seriously?
First got into hockey, or into officiating kind of the same way I got into hockey. I grew up in my family and we had 3 kids in our family. So I had 2 brothers, and naturally I told my parents, whatever the boys get to do, I have to try it too, being the only girl. Doesn't matter if they get to do it, I'm going to follow right behind them. And that's kind of how I got into officiating as well. My older brother attended the ref clinic and decided he was going to try it out. And as soon as I became of age to go to my first clinic, I told my mom, well, Craig got to do it. I'm going to sign me up. So that's really how I started it. During high school, it was a great way to make some extra money. I would go to school and then walk to the rink after and ref 3 or 4 games during the weeknights. And then my parents would pick me up and take me home. It was also a great opportunity just to get more ice time for me as I was still playing hockey at the time. And that's really how I started. And my love for officiating really didn't start until probably 3 or 4 seasons later, when I really started to understand that there's so much more to officiating than just being on the ice, making that money. And that's when I really fell in love with it.
Mine's a little bit different. I did referee very briefly when I was maybe 12, 13 years old, so a long time ago, and I didn't like it. I hated it. My mom put me in it, thought it'd be a great idea because I was playing, make a little bit of money, didn't enjoy it. But when I was playing during university, you would rarely see a female on the ice. So at that time, female officiating was very uncommon. And when I finished playing, I wanted to stay involved in the sport. But unlike a lot of other females who wanted to continue to play or would flip into coaching, I wanted to officiate because I thought, well, how cool would it be to referee university hockey and see more females on the ice? When I started officiating, I had no clue it would take me where it has taken me. That was never the goal. But I think it was probably my third year officiating because I remember where I was. I was at a level 3 clinic, which was an upgrade clinic so that way I had more officiating opportunities. And they had us write a letter to ourselves with our long-term goals. And I can remember writing that letter to myself and writing some goals in there that at the time I thought, well, this is a bit lofty. That would never happen. But that was the moment in time where I started to see that there were opportunities. So for me, it started a little bit later in life. That would have been mid to late 20s when I kind of had that moment of, oh, I could do something with this. This could take me places. And that's when I transitioned into more competitive officiating.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not a ref, but close. But I mean, I do want to like be a ref, at least like a lines person, hopefully for the little
Mhm,
kids, little timid kids. But
mhm,
I feel like the first time I really saw it was I was playing a school hockey game in like elementary school when I was younger, and the coaches were talking, and we were like, there was a timekeeper and a ref, and I was like, oh. And I don't know how it got brought up, but they was like, you could get money. So I was like, oh, I can like technically still be on the ice and I can make money and I
mhm.
can like watch hockey for free, but
Yep.
I can ref. And so that sort
Mhm.
of like interested me. And then I sort of forgot about it because I got too distracted by hockey. I was trying to improve and improve. But then I was watching the PWHL and my mom was like, yeah, you can be a ref and they'll like fly you everywhere. And I was like, what?
Mhm.
I was like, that's
Mhm.
really cool. So, I mean, I'm sort of set on broadcasting right now, so hopefully. But I mean, I think it'd be really cool if I start early enough, then hopefully maybe I could be like a professional ref maybe one day.
Absolutely. And the cool thing about officiating hockey is you can do it and still have a full-time job on the side. I know all of the ladies that Justine and I work with, whether that's nationally or internationally, we all have full-time jobs. So this is kind of what we do on the side, and we are able to make both work.
But not
So it
just
doesn't really have to be that one or the other.
yeah, and some of our colleagues in officiating who also work full-time jobs are moms. So
Hmm.
they can still be a mom, they can have a family, they can do their full-time work, and then they also get to pursue their passion, which is officiating as well. So you don't just, if you want to go into broadcasting, and then also have something fun on the side.
So I can do both.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Absolutely.
Noted, guys. I'll start now, then I'll
Perfect.
ref. See, brains. Here we go.
Our recruitment is working.
Yes,
Yes, it is already. I'm gonna hint towards my mom tonight. I don't know if they do them in the summer. I'm pretty sure they're in December, the reffing courses, but close.
Perfect.
Many young girls might not even think of officiating as an option. What would you say to someone who's curious but unsure about trying it?
Well, you already brought up a really good point. It's a part-time job when you're young, and also as well, you can create your own availability. So if you don't have Sunday evenings free, because that's when your team always has a game or practices, or you have other commitments, you can say, "Hey, I'm only available at these times." So you have some flexibility in that part-time job. You do have to be available to do some games. However, you're making some money and you're also being able to have some control over your schedule, which is really hard when you're a teenager and you're trying to balance other commitments and school and having a life. So I would say that it's a job that provides some level of flexibility. It provides nice little bit of money on the side, and you're also being physically active while on the ice. So you get to have a lot of opportunities every time that you step on the ice.
Yeah, I would completely agree with Justine as well. There's so much more that the game of hockey can offer you as an official than just those on ice skills. I'm a teacher outside of the rink, and I can say with 100% confidence that I am a better teacher because I am a referee. And it's because of those skills that I've learned throughout my career, such as communication skills, conflict resolution skills, how to de-escalate people when they're heated. Hockey's an emotional game. Us as officials, we have to be able to take somebody who is at 100% excitement or anger and bring them down to a place where they can have that conversation. And those aren't skills that you can just pick up right away. We have practiced them. We've made those mistakes. We've refined those skills through our officiating. And I know that I use every single aspect of my skills that I've learned through hockey within my classroom at work every day.
Yeah, I think as well with my future up there, hopefully being a broadcaster, I feel like with the communication is really important up there. So I feel like that also helped with my potential side hustle of being ref now.
Perfect.
What are some of the challenges you faced as women officials trying to break into the highest level of competitive hockey? Have there been barriers and how did you overcome them?
I actually myself didn't flip into the male hockey until 3 years ago. I came up entirely through female hockey in Ontario, especially the Toronto area. We have a lot of high level female hockey. So with that, I didn't have many barriers. And when I did transition to male hockey, we already had a lot of women who had made that transition, who had been doing it through their entire career, like Cianna, for example, who's been skating male hockey for, I think, your entire career, haven't you, Cianna?
Yeah.
So I would say the leagues themselves have not provided me with a lot of barriers because there are women who have come before me to help normalize some of that. I think a lot of my barriers come from me. So my own inner self-talk, or maybe my little bit of uncertainty in myself, and I've had to overcome that instead. So even though I'm confident and I know how to do my job and I feel good on the ice, in all the leagues that I skate, I still sometimes have to manage my own expectations and what I think. And I think that has been more of a barrier for myself than external issues in my environment, I would say.
I know looking back in my career, Justine kind of mentioned it. Predominantly, the leagues I skate back home are men's hockey. So in Saskatchewan, we didn't have a ton of females skating in our men's league. So I was part of the small group of females. There's about 3 to 4 of us within Saskatchewan that around the same time, give or take, were the first to skate in our midget U18 boys league, then the first to skate in a junior A men's game, then the first to skate in our major junior, our Western Hockey League out here in Western Canada. And it hasn't been easy. We know that every time that we step on the ice, being a female in those male dominant leagues, is that we have to be on top of our game. We have to make sure we are going out there and we are giving it our all every single game. And we're really out there not to make that mistake, because then it can be so easy to flip that switch of, oh, she made a mistake, this is why girls shouldn't work in those men's hockey games. So we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. We know that there's the extra eyes, that we truly do have to be perfect every single time that we are skating in those male dominant leagues.
Yeah, I think now, at least here, we just got the new home of women's hockey.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there was definitely, I know on for our league here, the Cape Breton Blizzards, they posted, they had a full crew of old or people who were still in it as the Cape Breton Blizzards people. So they had
Mm-hmm.
everyone work there, even the Times crew were Cape Breton Blizzards. But also, most of my refs here, even lines people, they're all women.
That's awesome.
There's always like regulars I have too that are
Mm-hmm.
always women, and they're always like the lines
Mm-hmm.
people, and it's really great to see
Yeah.
that. And especially now that we also have the home of women's hockey here, the PWHL is giving a huge platform to women's hockey and to women in officiating too. What does it mean to you to be part of this moment in history?
I think it's just so exciting. I look back at when I started my career, and we had our women's national team, we had our local university teams, but the gap between the two was just so big. At that time, I wasn't aware of the old PHF and the PWHPA. But those leagues, they didn't really have success. They were kind of there, and then they fizzled out. There was no gap for these players once they finished university to then continue their playing career. And now just seeing the opportunity that the PWHL has given so many of these players, and even how many more opportunities it's going to create for women moving forward with expansion teams, and who knows how big it's going to grow. It's been so cool to be on the ice for the games and really be a part of it from the start. And it's exciting to see where it's going to go in the future.
I would agree with that as well. And to put a bit of an officiating spin on it, for male colleagues, they've always had the NHL, the AHL, something to aspire to. And in the female officiating game, it was a big jump from university hockey to an international event or a Canada USA game. And to have a league where a young female official who's coming up has a goal, something that they want to be part of, it's actually an achievable goal now. Hey, I could officiate in a women's professional league. I have that opportunity to be part of the professional game from an officiating capacity, and that wasn't available to game officials prior to this league. Cianna's right. We had previous leagues that were considered women's professional leagues, but I was part of those leagues, and I'm now part of this league, and the difference between them, they're not even comparable. The talent on the ice, yes, because a lot of the same players played in both these leagues, but how the league works, the logistics, the administrative, the attendance, it feels like a professional game now. You walk into the rink and you feel like you're part of something much bigger than what it was before. And to be a game official and be able to actually aspire towards that, that's not something we've had prior to the PWHL. So it's not just the game and the players and the spectators and everyone else involved. It's also for young game officials coming up, something that they can now look forward and put that as maybe one of their goals that they want to achieve.
To get where you are now, what kind of training and preparation, both on and off the ice, is necessary?
There's a lot that goes into it. At the start of this podcast, you asked us, what do people not know about refereeing that they probably should? Is that there is probably about 80% of our work that we do is not done during the games on the ice. All of our prep work we have to do by ourselves. Yes, we go to tournaments and we have an officiating team, but we are really individuals throughout the entire season. We have to train properly, which by doing that, you either have to go source that knowledge, hire a personal trainer, work your gym sessions around your work schedule. You have to figure out your nutrition, making sure you're eating properly so that not only can you train properly, but you can recover after games, go to work the next day, still fuel your body for that game coming up, whether it's the next day, 2 days later. And then there's the big mental piece that comes into it, and all that mental, I guess, training that you have to do. And it's a lot, whether it's rule book knowledge. I know I can speak for Justine and myself. I think we referee out of 7+ different rule books in different leagues, all with different rules that you need to know for each specific league. So we have to have our nose in the books and studying those rule books every time we hit the ice. Okay, what rule book, what set of rules am I using? And then the mental side of it as well. If something doesn't go wrong in a game, because you're never going to have a perfect game, how do you rebound from that? How do you deal with it internally to then finish the rest of the period, the rest of that game, moving into your next game? So there's a ton of things that go into our training.
And the only other thing I can think to add is something that only comes with experience and being on the ice. That other 20%, we are always working with a different team. So we also have to be mentally prepared for different partners on the ice, because unlike a hockey team or another sport where you have your line mates that you work with all the time, we don't have that same consistency on the ice. So that 20% when we're on the ice, we take all that other work that Cianna talked about, put it into place, and then have to be flexible with our teammates on ice, because we're always working with someone different. So there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. Another big one too with our training is similar to a hockey team, we don't get practices. We like our games are the only time we essentially have that ice time. So we don't get the 2-3 practices a week to go work on things like positioning or skating skills or anything like that. So I know I have in the summertime, I have hired a power skating instructor and paid for my own ice time. I was fortunate enough to find about a group of 8 of us here within the Saskatoon area to kind of split that cost of the ice rental, because it does get quite pricey. But again, that is time and money. I had to go hire a power skating instructor just to learn the right movements, how to become a better, faster skater. So many things that people don't realize that we put into it.
Ice time is really expensive here too, as well. I know it's really hard to, my God, I'm so sorry, to rent out ice here too. And I know I've spent the whole last summer training so I can make a rep team this year, because I got cut last year for my rep team. And I understand the preparation that goes into it.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We have a segment. This is our Player to Pro segment. We have a special moment today in today's segment, Player to Pro, where we ask a young athlete to ask our guests of the show a question. Today's question comes from Julia Callery, a 13-year-old new official who just started reffing this year. And Julia wants to know, how old were you when you started reffing, and why did you want to do it?
I think we had to be 13 years old to take our first referee clinic. And I remember at the time when my brother had first signed up, I wasn't of age yet. I think I was only 11 or 12. So I remember waiting until I was 13 so I could finally go to that ref clinic. So I started when I was 13 years old, and I really got into it because I love the game of hockey. It was a great way to make some side money as I was going through high school, extra ice time, and I was totally unaware of the passion that it would grow into and where it would take me in my journey.
I'd also mentioned earlier a little bit, so 12 or 13, and I didn't like it. And again, it was when I finished university purely to stay involved in the game and see more females in the game. So I probably was about 24 years old when I started actually officiating with a purpose to keep it as a pastime. So a long time ago now, and we both stuck with it for a long time.
She actually has 2 questions. What was the trickiest reffing situation that you've ever had?
Oh, Cianna.
Justine, I know what you're going to think of. Are you thinking of Brampton?
I am thinking of Brampton. Yes, 100%. I am thinking of Brampton.
So Justine can help fill in some of these gaps, but Justine and I were working at the Women's World Championships in Brampton, and it was the Canada-USA round robin game. We were in the 3rd period, and was it tied at that point, Justine, or did it lead to the tying goal?
It led to the tying goal.
Okay, so we had play was going on, and we had a situation where a goal was scored. It was Team USA's goal, and while the play was going on, there was one spot in this rink apparently that if something hit it, the players or the puck, it would cause the clock to go out and the clock to start working or stop working. So during play, we had the clock actually go out, but you allow play to continue. So we have no clock. Justine's aware of this. She knows the clock is not running. Pretty sure she's already counting in her head how many seconds are going by. And Team USA scores what would have been, or what is, the tying goal. So we call it a good goal. We come together. We figure out the clock situation. And Team Canada then challenges for an offside, because you can do that. We have 3 challenges. They challenge for the offside. So we review the time first, because the refs were in the box first. We come out, verify the time. Yes, there was enough game time left for the goal to count. And we're getting ready to drop the puck, and we go in for the offside challenge. So then Justine and her partner go in, and they have to do another review. So they're in the box this time. Us referees are on the ice, and we have to review for the offside. And it turned out it was an onside call and a good goal. Correct me if I'm wrong, Justine. Yeah. But we had about 4 different rule applications all within one stoppage, and it was a lot going on, but happy to say we nailed it.
Another question. This one's from me. I mean, could be from Julia too, but we recently just announced, I got to be part of the announcement because, I have passed the puck, so I got to announce it here, not for the TV, but the U18 IIHF, the women's U18 IIHF tournament's coming here, so I'm just wondering if you guys are reffing here.
We do not know at this point in time. They don't come out with assignments until the fall. So we could be considered for that assignment, but we wouldn't know at this point in time if we are being considered for that assignment. But we don't know. But there will be some amazing Canadian ladies there. For sure, there'll be some Canadian ladies there that you can cheer on the ice. So
keep us posted, because then we can meet up in person, and maybe I'll be a ref by then.
Perfect.
This is the end of our show. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Is there anything that you'd like to leave with our viewers here with Pass the Puck?
Think about officiating. It's a great part of the game. It's the best place to watch the game from. You won't get a better seat in the house than on the ice. And if you're interested, reach out to your local minor hockey organization. Usually courses start as early as August and can go as late, depending on the province, up until the new year. But most of them are done in the fall, September, October. So reach out to your minor organization and take your course. Get yourself some black pants and a black helmet and a visor. A lot of times you can find a lot of the equipment used online, because it can be a little bit expensive at first. So reach out to the organization, see if there's anyone who's selling the old equipment or just getting rid of it that you can use, and get on the ice and try it out. It's awesome. It's fun. And it's a great way to stay involved in the game at any age.
I'm going to echo everything that Justine just said. Is if you're curious about it, if you're thinking about it, there's no better community than the hockey community as a whole, but even smaller than that, the officiating community. I can say from experience that I have got to meet so many amazing people through officiating hockey, and all of my best friends come from the officiating world. It's really cool, the connections you can build, the friendships that you can build through officiating hockey. So if you're even thinking about it in the slightest way, don't hesitate. Just do it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, and hopefully future ref, if you guys are also going to be here, future ref will be on the way. But thank you so much for joining me today with this episode.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. It was awesome to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you on the ice one day, and we can see your name on the screen with the ref's jersey on. That's what we want to see you in the future.